Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Cheap Seats. This is the FPL show where we normally talk through all fantasy Premier League related things. This week we've got the guys; it's a full house, all ready to discuss FPL. But before we do that, remember the show is sponsored by Classic Shirt ZA. That little logo on the left of Wahid, or the right, depending on which way you're looking at the screen. The shirt of the week, I beg your pardon, not the day, the week is. We're reminding Cyrus of a time where he could buy Chelsea shirts, so we decided to let you know of the 1997-99 home kit. Gianfranco Zola's wore that really well. The guys were talking about in the previous Cheap Seats yesterday about that FA Cup final where Manchester United nearly lost out on the treble because of Gianfranco Zola and Torianda Flo. But Cyrus, what memories does this kit bring you?
So there's a few. Firstly, Marcel Desailly, Gustavo Poyet, some of these incredible players who lit up the Premier League. And I don't even know where to start, because I look at that and I think the only other more iconic kit than this would have been any of the ones that have Coors on them. I mean, you look at the likes of Dennis Wise, Roberto Di Matteo. These guys were just special talents. And at that time, there was a lot of people who felt Chelsea was sort of their second team, those plucky guys who you could kind of root for a little bit, but you didn't really love. And then Abramovich came, changed everything around, and it was like, I hate those guys so much. But United and Chelsea have always had a pretty good relationship over the years, because I think Chelsea were one of the few teams who seemed to always get the better of United, even from the sort of 90s through to somewhat present day. And we've even had Mark Hughes play for both of us, so I wasn't a big fan of it. But he was there. I don't know if Yuzi wore that kit though. I think he did.
Wahid, you've mentioned Roberto Di Matteo in the chat panel as RDM.
Just a dirty little bastard who wore that kit.
So, if you want to wear that kit and not be called a dirty little bastard by Wahid, please do go check it out at Cheap Seats. Remember, the discount code is a Cheap Seats 50. Remember, you can follow them on Classic Shirts ZA, as well as follow them on Classic Shirts ZA.
Heidegger Johnson was in the one after this one, wasn't he, Cyrus?
Yes, he was. I was going to say, it's the likes of Frank Leboeuf. I mean, I could pull out names you probably wouldn't remember. Do you remember Albert Ferrer?
Yes.
He ended up playing at Newcastle as well. Shucks. The nostalgia is at an all-time high.
Okay, Cyrus, we can go into nostalgia all day, but we might.
Cyrus and I should start a new podcast.
You guys need
old nostalgia, not 90s nostalgia. Cyrus,
yeah.
Talk about football in the 90s.
I know another guy who'd be perfect for that. We actually trade stuff on Italian football in the 90s. Oh, what a golden age.
Okay. Leave Roberto Baggio alone. We're going to be talking about other Italians here.
You ever played Roberto Baggio golden kicks on your computer?
Oh, my. Stop.
Okay.
We're talking
guys,
about.
let's stop. Okay. Dean, you've given us, normally on our FPL show, we go through transfers. We also go through our differentials and of the week and captaincy. It's a double game week this week. So I'm going to start with Dean, because Dean's like at the top of our log. Dean, you've decided to go all in on Vote Verkhorst for this week as your differential. You are not sure between Rafinha and Coutinho. I don't know if you have a war against Brazilians, but let us know what you're thinking around this.
Yeah, so starting with transfers out, Rafinha tested positive for COVID in the previous game week. I don't think he traveled to Brazil, but if he's not playing, it's an easy transfer out for Rafinha. I don't think Leeds are performing relatively great, as we all know. They've got Southampton and Watford, so it's not bad. But then the other Brazilian, as you said, Coutinho, he's only got really one good game left this week in Wolves, and even that's a bit touch and go. After that, it gets tough. So I'm looking at getting rid of those two, and Havertz is on my list. He's been on my list for a while. I wish I got him in earlier, but Chelsea playing Brentford this weekend, and after that, their fixtures are just ridiculous. And Havertz playing that false nine, I don't think you can really take that position away from him at the moment, unless Chelsea get like a massive fixture congestion. But after Brentford, they got Southampton, Arsenal, West Ham, Everton, and it just goes better and better. So for me, Havertz is on my list. A lot of guys have said that minutes might be a bit of a worry. But I think the goals that guy can score, and you look at that Chelsea game versus Newcastle, he comes up with the goods when they need it. And he plays that role, and he's playing really well. So for me, Havertz is a no-brainer. Differential, Weghorst. The only reason why I'd say differential is because of the double game week. I mean, it's not easy. It got City and is it Everton? I think it was.
Yes.
City and Everton. So it's Burnley. I wouldn't say it's fantastic. I've got Weghorst in my team, but purely differential because of the double game week. There's no one else you want from those Burnley guys except for him, and he might get lucky with a City goal. He might get lucky with an Everton goal. So it could be, and he's really low owned. I think it's like 1.4% of people, if I'm not mistaken there. And
Okay,
sorry,
all
4.8.
sane people. All sane people.
Yeah, look, I like that.
Captain Salah, no brainer.
Yes,
Captain Salah.
always Captain Salah. That's the rule of this show. Wahid, let's go through your transfers. And you were worried about not doing any transfers, but you got Wout Weghorst out in this one.
No.
Or is it the other way around?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I do apologize, Wahid. Sorry. Wout Weghorst in. I was about to be like, what's going on? But anyway, sorry. My fault.
I actually said that on the group that I have nobody in and nobody out.
Yeah, he's got both on his bench. He's just substituting Shea Adams.
Yeah, I was substituting.
But make the transfer, Wahid.
Okay, so Hakim Ziyech is your differential and Salah is your captain.
So Hakim Ziyech, yes, because I feel like Chelsea, and I think Tuchel has realized that when you play with Kai Havertz as a false nine, the best way to do that is to play with Ziyech as a winger and not in a sort of like a wing back position. And when Ziyech plays in a wing as a wing, he's actually really good, and he chips in with goals and assists. So he gets into really dangerous positions, and I think he's only owned by like 1.1% of players in the game. So he is my differential. Having said that, I'm like quarter to taking him out and putting Havertz in because Havertz is probably a better player overall. And I have some spare change, so also Havertz is more of a shoe-in the team. But having said that, I've had Ziyech for a couple of weeks and he hasn't had a bad return for me, so he is my differential. The other differential I have is I forget. It's probably Weghorst as well. But yeah, I actually don't have many strikers in my team. I now have a 4-5-1 system. So my defenders are all quite good. It's Reece James, Matip, White, Cancelo. And then my midfield is Ziyech, Fernandes, Coutinho, Salah, and Kulusevski. I've got cheap strikers, Weghorst, Adams, and Emmanuel Dennis. So I've really loaded the defense and the midfield at the moment, and I've really given up on strikers.
The land of the 7.5s. That's why he's back to his best.
I've got Salah. I've got Salah. I've got Fernandes.
You don't have to
Those are
prove that you
expensive
spend money,
players.
No need to prove you spend money. Cyrus, you've been the last time you were here, you gave us some interesting things, but you're bringing in Mo Salah. Give us
I have a lot of questions. Sorry.
Please, let's ask the questions first.
Who did you have instead of Salah?
Yes.
No, so the thing was, you remember
Raheem
that
Sterling.
the last game.
Cyrus has burnt his fingers with Raheem Sterling.
No. Shucks, I learned my lesson after countless issues with him. Now, last game week, there weren't any of the big guys playing. So I went and I decided I'm just going to swap out everybody that wasn't playing and bring in guys who would get me some points.
I hope you used a free hit.
Take that knock.
Yeah,
no, I didn't have a free hit. You know what? I just figured I'm not going to win and I can't lose. So
what points did you take?
It was something like 8 points.
Okay.
It wasn't massive. So I made, but it might cost me trying to get these guys back in. It's just that I figured, guys like Cancelo, it's better to have them around than get rid of them and Trent. So I'll get rid of the likes of Gabriel Martinelli and obviously Jimenez, who, oh my goodness. when you start seeing minuses, you really start to question. And if you bring the graphic up again, that's why you'll see Jimenez is out. In fact, this isn't even correct because Lucas Moura is not my differential.
sorry.
It's actually Richarlison.
Yes, I do apologize. I didn't say
having a man.
What a
Having a
nightmare.
man.
Let's just talk about why
Imagine
Lucas
another
Moura is
Brazilian.
a differential, though, Simon.
Yeah. Well, Lucas Moura was a good differential if you were looking for somebody who was Brazilian
doesn't play anymore,
and
though.
not Richarlison. So I looked at the double game week and I thought, okay, I just can't pick Burnley players. It goes against everything I believe in. And Everton need to try and pull something out of the fire. They're more likely not going to. But if there's any player that could potentially score some points for them, Richarlison might be that guy. Over 2 games, I might get something from him. So that was the reason. And he was only like a 5.6% owned. So I feel that was pretty good differential. And chances are, watch him bag a couple of goals and rescue Frank's season. And then we go on into the sunset. But
there's a transfer request that's come in where he wants to transfer me out from doing the slide and Cyrus to do the slide. So I'm happy.
I should just warn you that it might be worse. This is like when
I like that Richarlison. I like that Richarlison pick because I was looking for like an Everton differential and I was stuck between whether DCL is like back on form and can score me goals.
If there's one thing that Richarlison has done consistently is get 2 points. So I'll take those 2 points over,
If you want the Everton differential, you go Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, I know Gordon's a good one.
And he's playing.
Frank loves him.
Looks like he's the only one that can do something in that squad.
Okay, you heard it here first, Anthony Gordon. So Wahid is looking for him now. You can see that.
I think Wahid is looking specifically for new slides. But just
Wahid is selling Salah for Anthony Gordon.
But to go back to the thing, Richarlison is a safer bet, though. I think Gordon might do something, but he's still young. And the thing with young players is that they get a little frustrated when things don't work out for them. I wouldn't even be surprised if somebody like Damari Gray does 1 or 2 things in the next couple of weeks. But I figured Richarlison, we sort of know what we'll get. And I did say that Barcelona should have signed him. I still stand by that. And this might be his last season at Everton. So let's see.
Okay, my slide, which is correct because I did it myself.
Is it Paul? Is it correct?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is because my differential is Lacazette. Brought in Vote Verkhorst for the double game week. Brozier has to move out. Unfortunately, it was between him and Mope. I'm still fighting the Mope fight. Always captain Salah, and my other striker is Lacazette. Look, guys, Mope's done well for me, 94 points for me this season. Look, him and Brozier have done really well for me this season. So I just needed somebody out to bring in Vote Vocals for the double game week because I need that. I was thinking Everton, but then obviously I didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole because it's Everton. My differential is worse. That's true. My differential is Lacazette because I think over the past, it's 7 games, he has contributed to 6 goals. So 4 assists, 2 goals. So, and he's playing in that little number 10 role and Odegaard's moving around and Mikel's got them playing some sort of false 9. And I like Lacazette in that position. So Lacazette's always been in my team for those past 6 game weeks. So I've gotten the points from him, but against Crystal Palace, I think that's going to be what might change things. I also brought in Bukayo Saka as the other one because I kind of felt like of the Arsenal youngsters, he's the guy who's actually pushing forward. And if there's going to be a goal that comes out of this Arsenal team in this period, because they're not playing the best football, but they're winning. So he's the guy who's actually doing quite well, him and Odegaard. So I just thought I'd do a little bit of an upgrade on that. Ramsdale's injured for me, so I've got David Raya in goals. So I'm hoping lots of shots against Chelsea that he's saving. He can concede 1, but I just need all those shots because Raya was this guy I started with until he got injured. So for me, it was a massive week. I did use my free hit last week. So yeah, I'm now done. I'm out of free hits. I've got, I think, bench boost left. So that's
I've used all the chips. This is like the Kenny Rogers song, The
How
Gambler.
have you used
You
all
got to
your
know when
chips?
to hold them, know when to fold them, and I just used them. Know when to walk away.
Yes, know when to run as well as ours.
Yeah. I never count my money when I'm sitting at the table, of course. Yeah.
Are there any other captaincy guys that you're looking towards and you're like, ooh, this is a good captaincy week for them?
Harry Kane, Newcastle.
Actually, hold up. No, Newcastle's much better defensively. But I'll give you that.
Harry Kane is on a rich vein of form. It's a season now where Conte said it's literally race for top 4. We got 9 finals left. Kane
That's
has to
every
step
coach.
up. Well, it's between Spurs and Arsenal is 100% going for top 4. And I reckon Kane against Newcastle, he pulled strings versus West Ham. Fine, West Ham were a bit depleted, but I think Spurs are in a fairly good place. Every time I say that, we lose, so I don't want to say that. But
You just said it.
I know. So Kane is a sneaky captaincy option, but then I also think Havertz, Chelsea, Brentford is also very sneaky.
That's a nice pick. Okay, guys. I'm going to cut it there. Thank you very much for joining us on this FPL show. Thanks for your picks, even though I got the slides wrong, I'll get them right. It has been international week, so yeah, it's international week. So I'm also slightly on holiday a little bit because we don't have Premier League football, but it is coming back. So please do enjoy the football.
Board's like a Man United board. Guys, we promise we'll get it right. We promise we'll get it right.
Exactly.
You did a better job than Italy and Paul. Don't worry. You did
Yes. A better job than Italy qualifying for the World Cup. But thanks, guys. And yeah, remember the deadline's on Saturday at 12. Please don't miss it like I do now because I play golf. So I find myself on the golf course and I'm like, oh, it's 12:30. And I haven't made changes to my team. So please don't get caught out like that. Outside of that, thank you very much. Goodbye, good night, and lesale kakafiso.